I guess this is unknown. I guess it wasn't really to give you guys a review based off the second half of Sword Art Online, which is basically of episode 15 to 25. Episode 15 to 25, just to let people know that's going into the fairy dance part, which is basically the second half, based on the first season, based on Sword Art Online, basically from what we basically do know and stuff like that. There's not really much to really basically talk about basically the second half because the second half doesn't seem like it's really all that important really when it comes to the first half because of the Aincrad arc. I would definitely will say I definitely will say the second half of based on this art of the fairy dance art where basically Kinato where basically he goes into a game which is called Elfheim Online, which is basically kind of like a very kind of like uh, fantasy kind of game. It's a lot more different than Sword Art Online. So basically, it's a lot more different. It's basically kind of like a conversion to basically from Sword Art Online to basically to Alfheim, basically in some sort of way, and basically of that. Yes, Kirito is back. He's back in the real world. He would not have to worry about dealing with the suffering and the pain and the loss and stuff like that he has dealt with and stuff like that. And personally going through his inner demons that he had to go through to go through the nightmare scenario based on Sora Line, which is basically called Minecraft, basically that he had to go through and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, it's I have to say it's really it's kind of frightening basically in a way to really to think about to be trapped into a game for so long for a couple of years or so without no food, no water or anything like that or anything like that, and you're trapped into a world where you're trying to battle bosses, monsters, people in a game, or let's say AKA as what it says, the murder guild, laughing coffin, basically ask for themselves and stuff like that. It's really happy to see Kinato basically escape from all that, get away from the hell that he has been through, to the nightmare that he has been through, that he has, and stuff like that. Even though the scars and the demons that definitely still haunts him, and it's definitely still do, and it definitely does. You just have that ghost from the past that kind of haunts you most of your life, and you just don't even know how to basically move on, and you think that you're okay, but even though, as I said many times before, you put that mask over your face, and you say like, yeah, I'm okay, but when you have that mask over your face, are you really actually okay? And that's just what it feels to me, basically what it feels to everybody else and stuff like that. When people say I am okay, or like I'm fine and stuff like that, you don't know what kind of hellhole that they've been in, or whatever kind of life that they've been in and stuff like that, and whatever kind of nonsense that they've really been in when it comes to family, or when it comes to personal relationships and stuff like that. And it just really actually is. It just really actually is. Now, basically, sort of season two. I'm not going to talk about basically as of yet because that's kind of relevant to basically into basically of season one of Sword Art Online. Basically, kind of like the more of the drifting into basically of the aspects through season two into season one, and it definitely does have those aspects, and it really definitely does. And I have to say that it really shows the cruel nature of basically when you're going into a game. To be honest with you, going to the VR MMO game, some people will probably say it's probably frightening, and some people will probably say it's cool and stuff like that. Even though, yeah, it's definitely is very cool, and it definitely really actually is. But what happens if somebody were basically get trapped into a game? What will basically will happen? What will basically will be the extinction of basically what basically will happen and stuff like that. Whatever happens, if were to die, they have that nerf gear on, and then like bam, they're just gone. They're dead and stuff like that. And that probably is a very likely, very possibility in the nearby future. That can really basically happen. That can really basically happen and stuff like that. In the year of 2025, which basically the year basically I think Sword of Line was created, or 2024 or something like that. Not in our year of era, but in their year of the era. That basically was created based for them, based for their era. That was created based for them and stuff like that. Now I want to talk about Leafa. Leafa as a character. She's basically known as Kinato's basically as AKA so-called sister, or I would say they're not sisters, but they're just basically they're kind of it's kind of hard to say like if they really are actually our sisters or not, or maybe that they really are or not, or I mean a brother and sister, excuse me. If they really person that they really definitely do are, I really don't think that they really are necessary. That they really definitely do are kind of like a brother and sister kind of complex, and in a formation in a way. I don't think that they're personally that they really definitely do are they really are not. I just don't see them being a complex base of that. But I definitely do know that they are kind of like blood related. They kind of really are. I guess you probably will definitely say because they are cousins, but they're not really basically considered as brother and sister because they're not really basically really not. I mean, argue with me if you want to. That's personally fine by me, but I really definitely don't see that, and I really definitely don't because if he even explains basically, I guess probably would say probably the light novels, or I would probably say probably the base of the source, the base of the light novels will probably will tell you that Shigu and Kinagaya, or I will say AKA as Kinako, as excuse me, as Kinato, basically are kind of like our brother and sisters, or I guess you probably would definitely say, I guess I don't know, but Shugu is basically her real life name, and her in game character is name is Lifa, which is basically a fairy kind of girl, and that's basically what she really actually is. Like I said first, there's not really basically a whole lot to basically really talk about. But one of the main antagonists basically in this anime, basically at the second half is of the season of the Sword of Line of this is basically that I can't remember his name. I think his name Shugo. Shugo. I definitely do name. So not Sugo, not his sister. Shugo. Shugo, which happens to be the main antagonist basically when it comes to this, when it comes to the game, which basically means that he's the creator of Elfheim Online. Basically, he's the game master, or I would definitely say the GM means that he controls the game. He knows how to make the game. He knows how to overwrite the base of the game to bend the game to his own will. It means that he's so called the king, untouchable, the god of the world, basically of his own world, and basically that's what he basically labeled himself. Basically, really actually is and stuff like that. And that's just what some people may think that he really actually is. When Kinato basically entered into the Elfheim basically in the world, Kibito's mission was a number one priority, but basically to find Asuna because Asuna was transferred from Sora Line to basically into Elfheim Online because when Kinato basically found out, Kinato was determined to do whatever he can to find Asuna, but even though he didn't really don't know how to fly or even know how to use some other different techniques that he would basically would use that's basically he would use what basically into having the archives basically transfer from Sword of Line to basically into basically the Alfheim, which basically means that is all your information get transferred from there and transferred to another game, and then you basically can do it that way. I don't think we can do it that way basically. And now I don't think we can basically in other different games. I don't think we can. But if we were to make like a new character, we have to start from scratch. That means we have to start from level one. That we have to work our way to God knows level 100 or whatever or something like that. And so that's just how MMO games are supposed to work that way, and that's kind of like basically like leveling your Pokemon. You have to level your Pokemon. You have to level them up to like at a certain different levels and stuff like that for them to get to evolution stages and stuff like that. And you have to worry about you got to get them potions and stuff like that. And you have to work very very hard to to progress based into the game and stuff like that and stuff like that. MMORPGs games are based on intelligent strategy, learning how the game plays, learning the mechanics, and learning how to understand the demographic base of the game. Kinato is basically as I look at him that basically he's very strategic basically in a way that he's in his own way. He is not only because he's very powerful, not only because he's OP, and I don't label him basically any of those for whatsoever at all. But I don't like the fact that people label him basically just as an OP basically as a kind of character. But I label as Kirito as just that he's just a regular human being. Like he's just all that he just is. He's just human. That's all he really actually is. He's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna have his flaws. He's not by any by means by he's perfect for any other different way. He's really is not. He's not perfect. He's really is not. He's gonna have his flaws. He's definitely gonna have that. That's what he's definitely that's what definitely he's gonna have. So yeah, that's what I definitely do think. But anyways, um, Sugar was basically what Tam basically what that he took the 300 players that were basically were trapped in sort of line. He transferred them over to the Alpine line, basically ended there. And I was kind of shocked and surprised. Basically, what he did was kind of like a scum, basic kind of way, basically what he did, and that's basically what he did, and that's what he wanted to do because he wanted to manipulate people's brains and their thoughts or something like that. I guess that's what he really wanted to do. I really definitely don't know, but that's what he really wanted to do. But that's what he wanted to basically happen because this is what he wanted. But not only because that he wanted his ultimate prize was basically Asuna was basically Asuna. Asuna was kind of considered as the basically the queen for him to pursue destiny basically to happen for him to basically so he can lust after her so he can do whatever sexual desires that he really wants with her. And that's what he ultimately he really wants. He doesn't really care about it's Asuna. He just cares about the lustful all the lustful desires, or obviously the sexual desires that he really definitely wants. And that's what he definitely wants. Because as I said before, he's a king. He has power. He has power, he has greed, he has everything. He's a god and stuff like that. But even though he personally is really not in his own world, he really actually is. But even though Kirito, otherwise that he personally really is not, it's thanks to Kabuta, Kabuta pretty much came into Alpine and basically just told Kirito like, "Are you gonna give up? Are you gonna quit?" And stuff like that. And Kirito didn't quit, even though he did personally kill the guy basically into the game. But I will definitely say when it comes to real life, that's something I'm going to get in here in just a few seconds. And personally, he did finish him off in Alpine, which definitely yes he is. But even though he did override basically the system, which is basically called the Excalibur, which is basically the legendary sword basically in Alpine, basically like when you basically go into games, you're trying to find that rare item or that rare legendary weapon. Sometimes it takes a lot of time for them to find it and basically to equip it basically for the character. And sometimes it will definitely will take some time for them to personally for them to do that, and it would definitely will take that moment of that time for them to do that, and it will, and it will, and it will, and it will, and it really actually will. And so Kinato did not use the Scalar based on the sword. He really the person that he really didn't, because he kind of gave it to Shogu, Jojo Shogu, and then Kinato put the monitor on from from 8 to 0 pain level, and I was kind of like, wow, wow. So he was making feel like what is real pain is really a lot more intense and stuff like that. You know, Kinato did not use the scouter, but he used his regular sword, because Kinato knows what he's doing. He knows how to fight, and he knows how to just take a person's life, because he knows how to do that. Now, basically, when it comes to real life based aspects, basically, Shugo basically did appear basically in real life, where basically you could just see like part of his face is like is kind of messed up, basically, because basically what happened basically into the game and stuff like that. And you could just tell where Shugo was determined to wanted to kill Kinito, firstly for what happened, because he thinks that he stole Asuna away from him and stuff like that. And even though Kinito basically in a way that he did get his revenge, in a way that he definitely did. But one thing I liked about what Kirito basically did, when I was watching that last episode, man, I hope Kinato does not kill this guy. Like, Kinato, don't do this. Like, it would make you know better than he is. It would make you know better than he is. If you do this, you're gonna have to live with that guilt for the rest of your life. You're gonna have to, and if you do that, if you do that, you're probably gonna be sitting life in prison and stuff like that, or you probably get a death penalty and stuff like that. It's not worth it. It's really not. I definitely would definitely say here is that if you're faced into a situation basically like that, what would you do? How would you personally pursue based in that situation, to pursue you based on that? But to be honest with you, I definitely say, if I was personally based in that situation, I would never have done it. But personally, I would personally hurt him. Yes, I definitely would, but not really basically kill the person. I'll say no. I said no. You're not worth my time. You're not worth me. You're not worth my time for me to kill you. All you're worth my time. All you're worth my time is just to watch you, to go to jail for the crimes that you committed, for the stuff that you committed, for what you've done. And I definitely do think that's what Kinoto basically did, to basically to not do that, and basically that's what he ultimately definitely did. So I definitely do think that it's a good thing, basically, Kinoto, and I'm really happy that he did what he did to finally get justice, finally get his revenge, to basically get that, and also basically finally to settle the score with his adversary, and that's what he definitely did. But yeah, anyways, that's it for this for the second half of Sword Online, uh 15 to 25. But yeah, this is anyways, I'll say guys later. Take care. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe. Please consider subscribing. Please hit the like button, give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. And please leave comments below. Anyways, I love you guys. Take care. Hope you have a long day. I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye.